So I know it's a little weird for me to produce a video that's not about a bag or is kind of small like this one, but I actually have a video coming out on Friday about a brand new product from Boundary Supply. They're releasing it on Black Friday, so my video is gonna go into correlation with that, so they kind of release together so you can get an idea before you buy it in case they sell out. But I wanted to highlight something a little bit different this time around. Recently I started working from home, which completely kind of changed my lifestyle. Right? Instead of waking up extra early to make breakfast and coffee and head out the door or pick breakfast and coffee up on the way to my job, I just moved from my bedroom to my recording studio / now home office. And because of that, I recently purchased something from my good friends over at the Upstate Coffee Collective. This is their own kind of roast or brew or whatever you call coffee beans that you help create. The all-day ADK. Now, my friends Matt and Kevin at the Upstate Coffee Collective have no idea I'm making this video, so surprise, I made a video on your coffee. But these two guys are enthusiasts on coffee, and they love the craft, and they love what they do, and they actually helped create this working with a roaster. Now, I had the pleasure of being on their podcast, the Upstate Coffee Collective podcast. I'll link my episode below, but honestly, I listen to that pretty much every week. They're all fantastic episodes. Matt and Kevin are great guys that have strong dedication and are entrepreneurs and honestly are starting to do some really incredible things with this brand. But I'm here to talk about the coffee. So like I said, I drink coffee every morning when I come to work with my Pakt One coffee kit. It's my pour-over coffee kit. I use it religiously. And the all-day ADK is a dark blend. Now I like to mix mine with a little bit of honey, but if you're a big fan of coffee and you make coffee in the mornings at home, this is a brew that honestly is different than a lot of things that I've tried in the coffee world. Now, I am the most generic person when it comes to coffee. I used to be the person that just got it black on the way to work. Now I drink my coffee black, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of honey, depending on my mood. Both of those or one of those usually goes into my coffee. But I found myself really looking for good brews. Now I stay away from the Starbucks and the Dunkin' Donuts, like the coffee beans that they have and the typical brands. I like to go for brands like the Upstate Coffee Collective, a little bit smaller, that create a little bit of a coffee bean that's a little bit different than the giant, businesses that make coffee, if you will. Now on their bag here, it says it reminds them of dark chocolate, cherries, and sunrise hikes. Now I definitely get the dark chocolate and cherries, but this is more of a winter fire, kind of stay inside with a nice big hoodie and snuggle up to nothing kind of flavor for me. I don't really get a hiking vibe from it, but nonetheless, every sip of this coffee has been really, really phenomenal with the flavor and the taste. But what I did want to highlight on is the way it puts me in the mood. And what I mean by that is throughout the day, I work from home in this setup. I work 8 to 10 hours a day behind a computer screen hooked up to this giant not computer, it's a TV. I don't even have computer monitors yet. I just recently started working from home about maybe a month ago by the time this comes out. And the thing is, my mood going to work, usually in the mornings at 6 a.m. for me, is tired and groggy, and then making the coffee, sometimes I enjoy it and sometimes I don't. But the thing is when you drink something, when you eat something, when you go out throughout your day, right, your mood changes drastically from one thing to the next depending on what's going on. For me, usually my mood goes from I'm really tired, I want to go back to bed, to I guess I'll start doing work, to I'm pretty happy, to oh my god, am I done yet? But one thing that usually snaps me out of a bad mood is, depending on what I'm eating, a snack or a drink. And for me, if I'm drinking something kind of like a Red Bull or an energy drink, it usually doesn't do much to change my mood. I usually end up immediately regretting it. The same thing if I heat up some pizza rolls or eat Twix while I'm at work. Typically doesn't really do a lot for me. But drinking this coffee in the morning around 6:30 by the time I'm actually drinking it, I've noticed in the last couple days, just drinking this coffee has drastically changed my mood. It has given me a sense of comfort and an amount of energy that I can get through the day, but I don't feel like I want to go run a marathon. I don't know, it might be just a weird thing, but I think that what we do in our life day to day, whether it be drinking or eating or just what we put our environment and we surround ourselves in, drastically has an effect on our mood and on our ability to see happiness through things like work that aren't always the most enjoyable. So for me, I like to surround myself with things that make me happy, and a good cup of coffee, and maybe some kombucha later in the day because my wife insists that that's healthy for me, with some, good lunches and good healthy snacks like RX bars or something like that, has improved my day drastically. It's hard to keep talking and not drink my coffee because I actually brewed a cup to talk about it, and it's so good. So they give you two options when buying your coffee. You can actually have them grind it up for you if you don't have access to a way to grind it, or you can get whole bean. I go for whole bean because I like to grind mine a certain way for my pour over coffee kit. Also, if you're looking for a good pour over coffee kit that you want to take with you on the road by air or by sea, look at the Pakt 1 coffee kit. I did a full review. I'll throw a thing up there and a video link down below. The Pakt 1 coffee kit is phenomenal, and most of the time I really enjoy using it because it's just a fun way to do pour over coffee because it's compact and travel size, which I personally really like. The Upstate Coffee Collective, like a lot of brands I talk about, are just a couple people that want to create a product or an environment or community that can benefit and help others. Like other companies I've talked about, there's only a couple people behind this whole network, and their podcast is supposed to be uplifting and to, you know, maybe shed some light or advice on things that you might not know about, because they talk to a bunch of different people, including some people that are involved in politics, people that have a channel about bags and we're in the military. That's my episode, listen to it first. But they just talk about a lot of cool stuff, or they just have conversations between themselves, and it's always something interesting and fun to be around, while on top of that creating a product like this coffee to help better other people. So if you're in the market for coffee and you're looking for something like that, check out the Upstate Coffee Collective, if anything, for their podcast. If you're someone that does a lot of driving to work, they're about an hour and a half episodes, and just a great thing to listen to in the car, or maybe, you know, while you're out and about editing YouTube videos, if that's what you do. But either way, I just wanted to highlight this coffee, highlight this brand, because I think that it's worth checking out. And I personally am not only just a fan or a part of their community, but also, you know, I have the privilege of knowing both of these guys for realsies. So again, shout out to Matt and Kevin. Check them out. I'll link their website, their podcast, the episode that I was on, so you can check it out. It's available on like iTunes and Spotify and things like that, so anywhere you get your podcast. And then I'll send a link to this all day ADK coffee if you're in the mood for a good dark roast. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit up Upstate Coffee Collective on Instagram, right? Fun to follow them. They're always posting some cool stuff. Shoot me an email if you have any questions about bags or want lists or suggestions. odiematthewsbags@gmail.com. And that's going to do it for me this week. I'll see you next time.